Alright my friends, in the last video we have showed you how you can create your own Android Studio project. Now in this video we are going to explain the Android Studio user interface. So here when you create a new project, this thing will pop up and all these windows and tabs will shows for you. Now the first thing first that I want you to do is go ahead and here we have this build tab right here on the bottom. I want you here on the right we have this minus icon. I want you to click on it to hide this tab right here. Okay, I'm gonna click on it, so now it's gone. So let's go ahead and that will give us a bit room to talk about Android Studio. So we are going to start here from the top. We have the navigation. This navigation, I think it's a bit complicated for new developers and it is a bit confusing. So that's why I want you to ignore whatever I'm gonna tell you to ignore. Okay, the first thing first, I want you to ignore everything that you can see here on the navigation except for the file button right here. Click on file. You will see that we can jump over to new, and you can create a new project also from here. Okay, so this is how we can create a new project, and also we can click on open to open a new project. We can click on close to close this project. This is the only stuff that I want you to know up to this point. Okay, creating a new project, open an existing one, and also close the current project like so. And I want you to ignore every other stuff or every other items that we can see here on our navigation, because later on we will go deeply inside each one that you can see right here, from the build tools, from the version control system, and so on. And after the navigation, let me do it like this. So we have this path right here. Now the stuff that you can see right here, okay, this first app2, app, source, main, Java, com, and so on, these are referring to the path, the current path that I am in. And to do so, to check where all these folders and files comes from, here on the left hand side we have this panel right here. It is the project panel. It is containing all the folders and files that we have. So here if I'm click on the app, here as you can see the path guide change from the first app, which is my project name. Okay, and here I am in the app folder, and as you can see when my app folder is selected, so that's why here it's telling us that hey, you are in the app folder. Okay, so here on the top we have the path. In the other side, let me do it like this. Here we have these icons. It is responsible for interacting with Android Studio directly. So we have the run button, we have the debug, we can open the settings and do some extra stuff. But for the time being, we do not have any Android applications that is ready to be run on a real Android device. So that's why we are gonna also skip this stuff right here. Okay, now going back here to the left hand side in the project panel. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm gonna explain the app folder right here. The app folder, it is really about everything that we are gonna work with. So I want you to go ahead to and expand the app folder like so, and as you can see it's containing several folders. So let's go ahead and explain each one in details. So the manifest file, it is the manifest folder right here. It's only containing one file, which is the Android manifest. It is containing some information about our application, like the name, the icon, all the activities, all the permissions, and so on. And we also going to open this and edit it a lot, but for the time being let's go ahead and close it. So this is the first folder, which contain only one file that is responsible for some information about our application, like as I said, the name, the permissions, and so on. I'm gonna close it. Going here to the second folder, which is the Java folder, one of the most important folders. I'm gonna expand it. We can see that it's contain three main folders. The second one and the third one is for the testing. Okay, if you know about testing with Java, so you can read all these codes, but otherwise you do, if you do not know about any testing stuff, that you then this will be read hard to read for you. Anyways, I'm gonna close it. This I My point here is that the second one and the third one are for testing. We are interested in the first folder right here. If I am going to expand it, okay, we can see we have main activity. From the previous video that I have showed you about the process of create any Android application, then you already know what does activity mean. As I said, it is about two main files: the Kotlin file, okay, and the user interface file. So this is the Kotlin file that made an activity. Okay, this is the first part, and as I said, uh, any Android application comes at least with one activity, because we cannot start with no activities. So this is the default activity that comes by Android Studio. That's why we are seeing this activity right here, and it's being built in Kotlin, even if you cannot see the .kt, which is for Kotlin, but it is built in Kotlin. So I'm gonna close it and close the entire folder, because the other tools for testing, I'm gonna close it. We have the Java folder, which is being created in the in the recent version of Android Studio. It is auto generated file. It is containing about configuration and so on about this project. So we are not interested in that. We are interested in the res folder. Res stands for resources. It is about the resources for this application. Now, before I expand this one, I just want to let you know one thing, one really important thing. The first one here, the manifest file or the manifest folder, about the settings, okay, for the application, things like bare machines and so on. The Java folder are for the back end for our application, the Kotlin, the Kotlin code, okay, things that the user cannot see and cannot interact with. Make sense? The rest folder right here, it is about the front end or the things the user can see. So anything that is inside the rest folder, it's all about what the user can see and the user can interact with. So let's expand it. We have the drawable folder, where we are going to add all of our images inside our drawable folder. Okay, so in order for us to add any image inside our application, we need first to store it inside our drawable folder, like so. So that's why it's gonna be accessible by our application here. Okay, so we need to put it right here in our drawable, then import it inside our application or our screens. The layout folder contain all the user interfaces, okay, and we will see that in action, of course. The mipmap folder contain all the small images and icons and so on. The values folder contain three main files: the colors, where we are going to store all the colors; the strings, where we are going to store all the text for our application; and the styles, which hold this file holds some styles and how the color should look like inside our application. It's contain pre-built theme. The themes, we can get benefit, or we can create our own themes. Now this is like a general idea of Android Studio. Okay, this is really like the big picture. We are gonna take each one of these folders and files in details. Okay, but I just want to let you know that there is for the front end, the Java for the back end, the manifest for the settings, and we can close the app. And we have the Gradle script here. It is really about extra stuff about if we want to import third party libraries, or we can use someone else code, and so on. So this panel right here, we are going to interact with it a lot. So even if this lesson make no sense for you, do not worry, we are gonna take it step by step. Now, if I want to close this window right here, I can click here also on the minus sign right here. I'm gonna click on it and it is gone. And if I want to get it back, I can click on a project tab right here. Okay, so this is really cool. I'm gonna hide it for now. We have the editor view like this here in the main screen, which is the thing where we are going to write our code. So this is like the editor view. And if you can see here, when I am opening the main activity.kotlin, here the path refers to the main activity.kotlin. So it goes all the way from the up folder all the way to the activity here, the main activity. So do not be confused by this bar right here. Okay, and really this is the idea about, or the user interface about Android Studio. We are going to choose something from the project panel and work with it right here in the editor view like so. And once we finish, we are going to run it from here. So this is like a preview of Android Studio. Of course, there are tons of other tabs and windows that I'm not gonna open right now because they will confuse you, and you already know that you are new to Android Studio. So these windows will work just fine up to this point. So hopefully that makes sense. In the next few videos, we are gonna explain more and more about Android Studio. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you in the next one, where we are going to introduce views and how to work more with Android Studio. See you in the next one.